Call Halal Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Rakakadash Brakati Hawel Brakati Hawashai Brakata Kakadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone, who of course continue to teach me this truth and who rule well. I want to say shalom to the Akim out there, pushing in the word and making themselves a living sacrifice. And of course, shalom to you few Wakim that listen with all sincerity. So I was on Euro News, and here's the article. Can the EU diffuse tensions as Israeli-Palestinian violence escalates? Short answer, no. But we're going to read through the article. We'll read through little bits and pieces. But I know you people out there, you brothers out there, you've been watching, you know about the whole Israel and Palestine going back and forth. In Israel, I believe they started riding into tanks and armored, what do you call them, APVs, I think they call them, armored personnel vehicles. APC, I believe. It's armored personnel container. I think that's what it is. APC or APV. They rolled in with these vehicles and tanks, and they're threatening to take over Gaza and run a ground invasion over the area. So we're going to read a little bit. The EU's top diplomat has demanded immediate end to ongoing violence in Israel and Palestinian countries, territories. Ongoing violence in Israel and Palestinian territories amid a fourth night of rocket attacks and devastating airstrikes. At least 69 people have now been killed in the Gaza Strip since the violence ramped up on Monday, according to the health ministry, while medical officials said 7 people have been killed in Israel. That's bullshit. Thousands of Israelis spent Wednesday night in air raid shelters amid rocket attacks on Tel Aviv, while mob violence broke out in mixed Israeli towns with Arab and Israeli businesses looted and burned. On Tuesday, the EU's representative Joseph Borrell had demanded the chaos be brought to an end. The grave escalation in Israel and the occupied Palestinian territory, including the major upsurge in violence in and around Gaza, must stop, he said in an official statement, adding that the EU is dismayed at the number of civilians reported, including children. He said the indiscriminate launching of rockets from Hamas and other groups toward Israeli civilians is unacceptable. This is another fucking piece of bullshit. These fucking people are nothing but goddamn hypocrites. You brothers look it up on your own time. But look up the Abu Ghraib prison. I believe it was in Iran. It's probably during around that Iraqi war with the whole 9/11 situation, that whole false situation. And the U.S. went down there to go, quote unquote, save the world from terrorism. But they made this prison, which actually I'm just gonna go look it up anyway, so you guys kind of Abu Ghraib. But they made this prison to, of course, get these prisoners to torture terrorists. But what happened is that they actually took innocent civilians and they put them inside this prison. A lot of the prisoners, a lot of the men in the prison, which most of them were EU guys from America as well. It was mostly US and Israeli guys down there. They were raping guys and torturing them. They covered this guy in his own shit and made him walk. They did some really heinous shit to him, man. This girl right here, she's posing next to a dead body, and she's smiling. Look, there's further proof that this Esau is a damn devil, man. I mean, even our people, man. Even when we kill our brothers, we have enough respect just to leave the body and keep it moving. We don't, you know what I'm saying? Take pictures with them and shit. But go look it up at your own time. The people that did all this torture and did all these killings, killed these innocent people, most of them have not been punished, and a lot of them have actually rose up in rank since then. So this devil has a lot to pay for, man. The U.S. military is gonna get their shit pushed in, man. But that's enough on that. Just wanted to show you that little bit of bullshit. While recognizing Israel's legitimate need to protect its civilian population, they don't give a shit about the civilian population. This response needs to be proportionate and with maximum restraint in the use of force. The EU calls for an immediate end to the ongoing violence. I'm in contact with the relevant parties in the region and with the international community, going through the Middle East Quartet to de-escalate the situation as a matter of priority. Other European leaders have also expressed alarm at the conflict and called for calm. We're very worried by the recent upsurge of violence and indiscriminate targeting. Priority should be de-escalation and prevention of the loss of innocent civilians' lives on both sides. Once again, which I just showed you there, in the Abu Ghraib prison, they don't give a shit about innocent lives. Tweeted European Council President Charles Michel on Wednesday. Besides from issuing statements, can or will the EU have a tangible impact in addressing the flare-up or the wider decades-old conflict? Euronews examined Europe's approach to Israel-Palestine saga to date and explained the bloc might play a role in diffusing the situation. Germany has been one of Israel's closest allies in Europe. The rocket attack on Israel is absolutely unacceptable, must end immediately. Hold on. Alright. German Foreign Minister Heiko Maas said, Israel has the right to self-defense. This escalation of violence can neither be tolerated nor accepted. France took a more balanced approach. The Foreign Ministry said it strongly condemned rocket fire from the Gaza Strip in violation of international law, while also denouncing the forced evictions of residents in East Jerusalem as illegal. But no one's howling for Jake down there in Dimona, which once again, Jake had no business going down there. Deuteronomy chapter 28 says that we would be taken from our homeland and we wouldn't be seeing it no more again, but that later on the scriptures tell you that we would get that land back, but when we do, the Lord will bring it back to us. The only way we're going to go back there is in the kingdom. So Jake really had no business going down to Dimona, Israel. I mean, that place is demon central, man. I believe also that the Dimona nuclear power plant exploded, which I'm not sure if that had nuclear plant explosion. I'm not sure if that... Oh, okay. Near Dimona's nuclear reactor. So... well, okay. Well, that's not... Well, we're not gonna go into that at the moment, but that did happen. I haven't really found anything on it, so it looks like there's been some upticks, some new articles on it. Well, we're gonna that's enough reading that. They asked, what can the EU do? The answer is a whole lot of nothing. This is Mark chapter 13 verse 8. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginnings of sorrows. Matthew 24 verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. So you see, this stuff is all prophecy, man. And these are going to be, of course, the beginning of sorrows. Now it's going to start with this, and then I believe that Israel, let me see, Israel and well, it doesn't look like Israel's in NATO, but if they were, then I believe they would already be fighting, because to my knowledge Palestine isn't a part of NATO nor the EU, but I believe in the EU it's kind of like an intermediate stage. Alright, I'm gonna close out and come right back. Yeah, so Palestine isn't exactly a part of the NATO or the EU, but I believe that they're actually trying to get involved in it. So, Proverbs chapter 20, verse 24, man's goings are of Yahweh the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? Which, these articles here, these guys think that they understand their own way, that they have control over the world and have control over what they can do and what they will say. One of the elders at GMS On Air 1, he made a history video talking about Alexander's involvement with the Hebrews and how Alexander actually didn't take over Jerusalem and didn't take over Israel because he had a dream of Yahweh. And when he came to visit Israel, he treated the high priest with respect. And he actually wanted to do a favor to the Israelites. And so the high priest, he said, just let our people, wherever you find them, scattered in Persia or Babylon or your other satrapies, just let them keep doing what they're doing. Let them continue to keep their faith. And Alexander said, you got it. And Alexander also said, if any of your Israelite men want to go join my army, they can also keep and retain their faith and their traditions, and they don't have to be Hellenized. So, men's ways aren't his own. And the high priest also told them that they actually opened up to Daniel, I believe it's chapter 8 or chapter 10, and they showed them that Alexander would be prophesied to take over Persia because of the he-goat with the one great horn versus the ram with the two great horns. And those two great horns is Persia, and the one great horn is Alexander of Macedon. And Alexander was able to, of course, take over Persia. He didn't actually kill Darius. Darius got killed by one of his own mans, his own satraps, Bessus, which that's when you're going to hear about him, the false king Bessus. And then Alexander promptly killed Bessus, and then he was able to take over because he routed Darius. Darius ran away. I believe he ran towards the north to unconquered territory, and Darius was found by that king Bessus, and Bessus betrayed Darius, killed him, and tried to make peace with Alexander, but Alexander wasn't having that and killed Bessus instead. But once again, Alexander, his whole thing was just to fulfill Bible prophecy. That's his only use. And once he was finished, he just died. Which when you look into his death was just so uneventful. In the movie, the Netflix movie, they dramatized it heavily. In the Netflix movie of Alexander died after taking on the king of India, one of the kings of India, Porus, and that's where he is hit by an arrow and dies. But actually, in history, he actually was able to defeat Porus and actually moved further across India. And then in a later uneventful, unnamed village, I forget the name, but his men was taking it over, and Alexander was feeling himself. He climbed up the ladder to go siege the castle, and he was just hit by an arrow and killed. So and that's how he of course they dragged him back to Babylon, and then he died. So really, Alexander was just a pawn. He was just a stepping stone for prophecy. And just the same as the EU, same as NATO, 10 horns, same as the UN, all these guys are just really just pawns on a macro scale. This is the last scripture I'm going to bring out. 2nd Esdras, chapter 16. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Gird up yourselves with clothes of sack and hair, and bewail your children and be starved. Your destruction is at hand. A sword is set upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is set among you, and who may quench it? And the answer to that is nothing. Babylon the Great, aka Egypt, these eastern nations, the Ishmaelites, this world in general, the people that take a part of Babylon are going to be destroyed. They're going to be nuked, and they're going to, and those that are lucky enough to survive, which those that do survive are going to be horribly malformed. They're going to become our slaves. You ever see the movie 300, look at Ephialtes? That's how they're going to look like, man. They're going to be mutated horrors, and we're just going to put chains on their necks and bondage them and put them in hardcore bondage and slavery. And they're going to serve us forever. So that's all I got. Hope you brothers found edification. I'm going to say blessings, glory, and honor be to Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai by Shema Kakadash. Shalom.